right, to the body of the program here. The State of the Downtown Initiative was started in 2010 as an effort to create an annual benchmarking report to provide objective and accurate data about downtown Madison. Today, we are pleased to launch our 13th report, a document providing a wealth of information to better understand the current state and help plan for future projects, growth, challenges, and opportunities to maintain a healthy and vital downtown Madison. In producing this year's report, we worked with numerous partners and sources, including the City of Madison staff, to compile the updated data and figures. I want to say a huge thank you to so many of you in this room that participated in this document. I want to say a key thank you to our friends at Alpha Graphics, who put in extra work to make sure that this document was ready this year. So thank you to the team at Alpha Graphics. You're going to see the report, which you just got a copy of. We'll have it on our website as well. But the report shows there are many aspects of the downtown that are doing well. Just want to highlight a few in the report, particularly in the development and investment in downtown. Just this last year, this is 2022, not 23. We've had over $71 million in new construction. That number is going to significantly grow already. I'm looking at Alex Johnson right now. You're building a how many $100 million building in downtown with Findorf? That's what's happening in downtown all the time. He's looking at me like, why am I calling you out, Alex? But great work, great work. We also saw 1,500 new apartment units start construction in 2022 and even more in 2023. We're also very proud that the pedestrian counts over the year have grown significantly to $3.2 million on the 600 block of State Street, $6 billion, 3.2 million people on the end of State Street, 600 block, and 760,000 on King Street. We're very proud, we're going to hear this from Ellie, that visitor spending was nearly $278 million in 2022. That is an economic impact that is just shy of 2019, and we are going to blow that number out of the water, right, Ellie, in 2023. We already know that from room tax collection and a few others. Tourists are back, and the other secret to a downtown is Chicago people spending their money in your downtown. That is a recipe for success. Doesn't have to be Chicago, but it's Chicago. Their Bears beat my Vikings this week. Oh my God, that was the worst football game I've ever seen. An area, though, not on a happy note, though, an area we are watching certainly is office, right? And we're going to talk with Bob and Heather and a few on as well. The vacancy rate has risen to a 16.7 as of Q2 in 2023. This is obviously trending higher. It's a number we're watching very closely, but we are doing quite well compared to our peer markets like Austin, Texas, or Boulder, Colorado, Indianapolis, Portland, Raleigh, Durham. So we feel we're in a very good spot there as well. Although I just said the news is not positive, one area we are watching very closely is the multifamily vacancy. We're reporting a vacancy rate of 3.6. We've seen the number as low as 2.5%. A healthy multifamily vacancy rate is 5%. And so we are certainly seeing that's why more and more buildings are happening here today. We also continue to see a lack of businesses that meet everyone in our community's needs and the experiences that they want to see. And that is something, both of these last two items, we're going to work very significantly on. We're excited to launch early next year with our friends, the City of Madison, a partnership with Heather and the team, a public-private partnership with a new strategic visioning document for the downtown space itself. What does vibrancy look like? What does the business mix look like? What can we do in the public spaces? What is the programming we need in downtown? We are very excited for this effort. So look forward to participating more in 2024. We also have a new initiative I'm proud to announce. You all love this event so much. You all showed up, all 400 of you. We're going to have this event every single day of the year because on our website, we're adding a data dashboard where you can see real-time information on many of the statistics, updated weekly sometimes, monthly, quarterly, and yearly with some numbers like population. Downtown Madison Inc. wants to be the source for economic development information in the city, and this effort is underway, and we will launch this in the beginning of the year. So thank you particularly to the staff, to John, to Madeline, to Heather, to another Madeline. We hired another Madeline. That was smart. To Luis and to Gabriel, who have done an amazing job with this report, with the new data dashboard and everything with downtown. So let's take a second to just thank the amazing DMI staff. All right, enough of me. Well, kind of. I guess I'm emceeing the event. We are excited to have a wonderful panel to come up here today to talk about this current status of this report, what's happening in downtown today, but what the future of downtown Madison look like. So I invite everyone to come on up. I feel like it's a little bit like that game announcer. Coming on first, Ellie Westman, President and CEO of Destination Madison and an ex officio member of the DMI Board of Directors. Next up, we have Kirsten DiMartino, who is the Director of Campus and Visitor Relations at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and Heather Stouter, Director of the Planning Division for the City of Madison's Department of Planning, Community, and Economic Development. And last, Bob Bruni, the President of Urban Land Interest. Just want to say a couple of personal thank yous. First, to Kirsten DiMartino. She is pitch hitting. On Tuesday, we learned that a federal deputy secretary on the federal level is visiting UW, which is fantastic. We'll keep that federal money just like that Chicago money, right? So Brenda Gonzalez, who's on our board of directors, was no longer able to attend, but Kirsten was able to pitch it very much. And this is a bit of a sarcastic thank you to Ellie Westman Chin. How many of you were at her event, her 50th, amazing 50th event last night? 50 years for the Destination Madison organization. That was the most amazing event. There was amazing food, amazing everything. The wonderful team, Joel Blant and the team at the Sylvie and Frank Productions did a wonderful job. So it makes our event look, thank you, perfect, perfect. I mean, they had lasers. They had, they ended it with a special overture by the Wisconsin Chamber Orchestra. Joe, I think, is here today. Oh, and then to top it off, they hired, I swear, it was the entire football band for UW. There had to have been 200 band members on that stage. It was an amazing event. So I just want to say a huge thank you to creating vibrancy on the CAPI section of downtown. But congratulations on 50 years of your work in the Convention and Visitors Bureau here in Madison. You have brought so much to our city. So thank you to you, to Bill, to Deb, and everyone at the team. All right, first question we're going to ask is actually to Ellie. We talked significantly in this report about the importance of tourism. We want to dive a little bit deeper into that. A successful downtown has four main factors, right? You need people, and those people usually come from four sources. They're residents, they're workers working in the downtown at all different sectors. They are the folks from Middleton or wherever you are in town and McFarland that come in for events. And they're the folks that come in from out of town, the tourists. The tourists are a huge part of the downtown economy. About 12% of our workforce, of our 50,000 workforce, works in hospitality. It's a huge, huge part of our economy, over 5,000 folks. Ellie, what is the current state of tourism in downtown Madison? And what does that sort of future look like the rest of this year and the next future? And there should be a mic right next. Perfect. Never mind.
First, good morning, everyone. And Jason and team, thanks for inviting me to be on the panel. And congratulations on this really incredible report. It's so much fun to be on this side of COVID and seeing the growth and everybody working so closely together. So as Jason mentioned earlier, I'm happy to report that tourism in Madison is really healthy. And we're seeing numbers that we've never seen before. And part of that is our team, which some of them are here, Kate and Rob and Jamie are here today, but we really used our research to know how tourism was going to come back in general, not only in Madison, but in the United States. And what we learned very quickly was that leisure travel was going to lead the charge by far, because we all sat home for 2 years and we didn't travel and we were ready to get back on the road. Our leisure visitors are off the charts. We have our hotels, and I see some of our hotel friends are here with us, are like, weekends are good. We're solid there. Convention business is still slightly slow, but it's coming back and we're starting to see those numbers come back. What we're seeing is really short-term bookings. So before, where some things we would book 2, 3, 4 years out, they're calling us today for April of next year. So they're doing these really short-term bookings, but we'll take it. And then as we head into 2024, it's kind of an unknown year. Election years always are for tourism. People are just kind of hesitant, not wanting to spend a lot of money. But the research we're seeing is that what they're going to want are regional trips. That is our sweet spot. So we feel very confident that we're going to continue to get those folks out of Chicago. We love them. They spend so much money here. We get a lot of people, thanks to UW, out of New York City. We love them too. They spend a ton of money here. And so while our actual visitor numbers aren't quite back to 2019 numbers, our spend is above 2019. So, you know, I don't know about you, but I'll take the dollars and then we'll get the people and then we'll take more dollars. So we're really excited about the future. Jason said we celebrated our 50th last night and we're looking forward to the next 50 years and what we can accomplish in Madison altogether.
Big question that we always see is on housing, right? Downtown Madison Inc., we host Development Tracker on our website, and we have it's probably about 7,500 to 8,000 units in the works in our footprint of downtown, which is the Yahara to Camp Randall. So this question is first for Bob, but also for Heather. What do we need to do to develop more housing? And in particular, I think also to Heather, on the affordable side of things. We just simply don't have enough units. Bob, we'll start with this mighty and perplexing question with you.
So, good morning, everybody. Great question, Jason. And I like the question of both, right? Affordable and non, because it highlights the need that we need to put more housing units in downtown Madison at all income levels and all rent levels, right? There's a shortage of housing in general. And when you think about what are the hurdles to that? Well, cost is an easy one, right? Construction costs, land costs keep going up. Limited land supply in downtown is a hurdle, right? We're constrained by the lakes and everything else. So there's limited supply, which also causes land prices to go up and requires greater density on the site, right? So then greater density means structured parking, underground parking, which is not compatible with affordable housing. And so as we talk about that, what do you need to make a project successful? And really it starts with a group of involved stakeholders, a developer willing to invest money into their community to help solve a problem. Community organizations, state and local agencies ready to support and advocate for a project in a community, and then involvement, willing to potentially put dollars into that, right? An area of focus that the city has provided recently is assistance with site costs and things like that for affordable housing projects. And that's hugely beneficial to make an affordable project work, especially in a downtown area like Madison, where it's constrained. So that involvement is there. Streamlining zoning processes, approval processes, things like that to speed up the speed to market. Because as we all know, time is money. And in a development project, when you're working to get things moving and construction costs are going up every other day, you need to be able to get to construction as quickly as possible. So areas of that where we can streamline those processes, I think would help the process overall in general to put more units in place. And then on the affordable side, I'm going to say access to funding. It could take anywhere 5 to 10, even more funding sources to put an affordable project together. Low-income housing tax credit is probably the biggest component, but it only gets you partway there. There's at times you need local organizations, community organizations, grants, funding sources to step into the breach between the capital that's available, the equity that's available to support affordable housing, and the financing that's available to support it. So we need all those components that come together to really help move those things along. And then lastly, I would quickly say, you mentioned this earlier in your speech about the report, but really downtown Madison, the goals should be, how do you invest equally in jobs creation down here, residential, retail, and services? Because to have a vibrant residential community, you need all those other components there also, right? People want activity both day and night in the community in which they live.
It's a great point. I want to send the question next to Heather. I want an update, sort of what the city is working on with affordable housing, but also what are the opportunities and challenges to development in downtown Madison? Sort of an extension of Bob's comments.
Yeah, thanks, Jason, and it's great to be here with everyone. I think one of the biggest opportunities that I see is honestly like a significant amount of residential opportunity happening soon downtown. And I'm not saying that we should all rest on our laurels, but the last 2 years, 2022 and 2023, have both been record-breaking by far, smashing the numbers of recent years of what we've seen in housing approvals. I think we all know that it's going to take some time for some of these deals to come to fruition. We're facing a lot of uncertainty in the lending market, labor, materials. We're going to have to be patient to see some of these enormous projects come to fruition. But what we're going to see, hopefully, in the next few years is the near complete remake of Wilson Street with predominantly residential uses, the first deeply affordable high-rise development in downtown in many, many years at the St. John's Lutheran site. Soon to be followed, hopefully, by the Brayton lot, which the city will take a lead on. That will undoubtedly include a deeply affordable housing component. And so I think not only are we seeing record-breaking numbers in residential period, but the true inclusion of deeply affordable housing units among those in the center of downtown. This is a bit different, but you've probably all heard of the city's and the CDA's reinvestment in the Triangle. So high quality public housing being part of the downtown to complement what we've seen the amazing project that Bayview has done on the Triangle site. 5,000 new student-oriented bedrooms have been approved just in the last couple of years in the center of downtown. 5,000. So that's, I don't want to take anything away from Kirsten's piece, but that's an enormous part of the residential as well. So yeah, I think that's a huge opportunity in and of itself. And we all know that opportunities and challenges are married, right? When there's an opportunity, there's the challenge. And I want to double down on what Bob said with, what is that right retail and services mix that can serve visitors from, other states, as well as the residents to get their daily needs met. We all are aware of, that we as a society are leaning more on delivery for retail. And what's that challenge going to look like downtown? How can we urge folks living downtown to get most of their retail needs met nearby, rather than deliveries that do cause some challenges and traffic patterns downtown. If you're interested in digging into that a little bit more, we do have a meeting on Monday related to the campus side of State Street and how that might become a pedestrian mall through an experiment next year. Well, deliveries are a huge part of that. So urge you to stay tuned on that effort. I think that's a real challenge. Again, finding that right mix that's going to complement the residential rise in downtown. Another potential opportunity, somewhat related, is that we're seeing changes in the state office buildings. I think the certainty will come on that in the next couple of years, but some sites with older state office buildings may be coming available for adaptive reuse or complete redevelopment. And so I see that as a real opportunity, perhaps for more housing. The challenge, the bigger challenge that's related to that is, again, the office market downtown. What are we going to see as the long-term impacts of the pandemic and hybrid work and things like that? So I think that's a challenge that can't be overstated. And then the final opportunity I want to mention, which we don't have certainty on yet, but increased connectivity to other cities. And I'll mention Amtrak. The city may be soon in the running for a new passenger rail station in or near the downtown, where the city's starting to look at potential sites for that, some of which are downtown. And so that's a stay tuned. I think we'll start some engagement around that issue really in 2024. And I think you all will hopefully be involved in that effort. The Lake Street ramp is being redeveloped soon with an intercity bus terminal, which was one of the loudest things we heard years ago in the comprehensive plan process from a lot of our underrepresented communities. We really need easy access to Minneapolis, to relatives who live in Chicago, Minneapolis, et cetera. So that's a real need our community has had, and I think we'll see that come to fruition in the Lake Street ramp project as well. So, that's a really broad swath. So housing, office, connectedness, et cetera. But I think I want to leave this group, larger collective team, with just the reality that challenges and opportunities are married. And so let's make the best choices we can together to make downtown as inclusive as possible as we look forward.
I just want to say, I think there was several nuggets in there that are quite important to acknowledge, particularly Bob talked about the lack of land that is downtown. Well, there's some adaptive reuse and some potential projects. I know Mark Bankowski and Peter Beeson are here with the amazing St. John's a church facility using space of worship that didn't need as much space and are now creating housing. Same thing is happening on the Regent Street side of things with the neighborhood house and another project as well. It's very innovative use, and then obviously the use of city land for both the Brayton lot and the Lake Street ramp. So kudos there. I also want to say thank you. We need to add more density into spaces that can be developed, like Regent Street area. And Heather was outstanding to work with in the comprehensive plan amendment process to add a special map note to hopefully add, if the council passes it in the next couple of weeks here, more density in and around Regent Street, an area that can see more density, that can handle the transit. who's moving to downtown right now? It's students, which we'll talk to in a second with Kirsten, but it's also Gen Z. We have the highest proportion of Gen Z, so basically 20-year-old workers, portion of any city in the country. We're net ninth. We are the, 88th biggest MSA, metropolitan statistical area in the country, and we are the ninth. We think we're going to be seventh next year. People are moving here, and where do they want to live? It's downtown. Students are also a big part of that. For the first time, University of Wisconsin-Madison tipped over 50,000 students. So, Kirsten, you really work with students a lot. They add so much vibrancy to the downtown. This downtown would not be as impactful as it is if it wasn't for UW. So how does UW-Madison create that downtown that is economically strong, equitable, vibrant place to live, work, and visit?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all for letting me join you. I usually am standing at a bus stop with a first grader at this time, so I don't often make it to these events. It is much warmer here.
I hope someo's with that first grader at the bus
Yes,
stop. Okay,
taken care of, taken care of.
Good. It takes a village.
Sure does, sure does. So, I know many of you, if you had the chance to attend in August, got to hear from Chancellor Mnuchin, and she shared that UW and downtown are so intertwined. And I think as we think about a healthy and vibrant campus and a healthy and vibrant downtown, they really serve each other in numerous ways. Going a little out of order in terms of the list, I think.
No, I'm sorry. No, you can't do that.
Oh,
Yeah. It's been written.
We'll follow her. I think about, Jason mentioned the 50,000 student population. We know that we are seeing a couple of years in a row of record-breaking applicant numbers. The campus is really hot right now. We see that with our tour population, and it is really important to us that we are bringing both a talented and diverse student population, but that they are also finding belonging while they are here for their time on campus. And we know that that community and those connections extend beyond campus and they are part of the downtown while they are here. So that looks like finding dining options that provide a taste of home, particularly for some of our international students. That looks like finding a local faith community and place of worship and really connecting in there. That looks like volunteering and investing their time and talent directly in the Madison community. So I think that I want to give credit to our students in all of the many ways that they are enfolding into the larger Madison community and finding belonging with all of you while they're here. I think it's really important from an equity and inclusion lens to note that we have a responsibility as a campus to invest back in the community and share our resources, our knowledge, our research directly with the local community. We do that in a number of ways through outreach across many centers in all parts of campus, but I particularly have to shout out Brenda Gonzalez, my amazing colleague who couldn't be here today, and the work that they do on South Park Street with the South Madison Partnership. I think that is a place where you can see direct and tangible connection to the community every single day. They see over 2,000 visitors and really are doing amazing direct work in giving back to the community. I would also point from an economic investment side towards the construction happening on campus that you probably see and experience on your daily drives like I do. We know we're very excited about the Bakke Recreation Center and that beautiful space for our students to focus on their well-being. But we also know we have Vet Med and the School of Computer Data and Information Sciences, which is the construction I look at every day. And that all of that development is really key to recruiting top talent and really staying innovative in the research for this community and for the state as a whole. And so we know that that also means partnerships with many of you in this room and employment opportunities within the city. And all of those things are really important. Our students certainly spend their dollars downtown, and I would say add to the vibrancy that you feel every time a semester starts up and traffic gets a little tougher as you are going through passing time and getting to work. But I think all that we have to offer on campus, from our museums, our events, our athletics, certainly contributes. And I love that it really is that back and forth. You might eat at the Old Fashioned, and then go to the spring band concert. You might pop over to the Memorial Union Terrace after a trip of shopping at the farmers market. I have to shout out one event that I hope you all will come to, happening in the spring. We are hosting, as part of our 175th anniversary, an open house April 5th through 7th, as an opportunity to invite the greater Madison community to campus to see what is the best of UW. And so we hope you will join us then. And we really hope that we can bring that vibrancy through our anniversary as well.
Well, speaking of construction, we also hope that another building gets approved somewhat soon.
We
A
sure
College of
do.
Engineering extension building, which will have an economic impact much larger than just the downtown. So I want to move next to Ellie and what that future of tourism is. And it's a great segue to the union. And I know Susan Dibble is here, the deputy director of the Wisconsin Union. It's the #1 tourist attraction in the downtown, and it's not even close. Imagine that. Put beer, cheese, ice cream on a waterfront, and you get the biggest tourist attraction. What does the future of tourism look like here in downtown? And are we going to see more Top Chef here?
Well, we'll see Top Chef in February when the new season starts. So excited to have that. That's been a little gift that just keeps on giving. We just in the announcement alone, we received over $250,000 in media value just when it got announced. So I cannot wait for the show to air, because we will be seen far and wide across the country, and people are going to want to come to Madison and experience our incredible food scene. So when I think about the future for tourism, and really for Madison, and listening to all of you, and I learn every time I'm on a panel or in an audience listening, growth is the key here, right? And when I think about what's happening in our city with the Lake Monona waterfront redesign, the John Nolan Drive redesign, the Destination District, Alliant Energy Center, the redevelopment committee is back together, and we're working on updating that feasibility study, what Ruben Anthony and Urban League is doing on the south side. It's incredible. We know when our visitors come in, leisure or group business, they're going to go downtown. We know that. We can tell that from all of our data. What we want them to do is go downtown. Then we want them to stay extra days. And so we're going to put a lot of emphasis next year on our neighborhoods, because they're going to come downtown. If they're going to Monona Terrace, they're going to walk around State Street. It's awesome. We want those convention travelers and those sports planners to stay 2 or 3 extra days. We want those leisure travelers to, instead of coming in for an afternoon, come in for 3 days. And so Cap East, incredible over there. That's really become like a little arts district, which is phenomenal with everything that's happening over there with the Sylvie and Bree Stevens and Art Lit Lab and all of that. And then Regent Street development is great, fantastic. So, and then you look at Monroe Street, but you go to Willie Street, it is such a different experience. I love when people go to Willie than Monroe and they're like, where am I? I felt like I left and went to 2 different cities. One of our challenges is that Willie Street is called Willie Street, but nowhere on Willie Street does it say Willie Street. So you send people to Willie Street and they can't find Willie Street because it's not called that, or it's not officially named that.
That's a good point.
So,
Heather, can you fix that? Yeah.
so Heather, I'll be calling you.
Heather, you're an insider, right? Yeah, you can fix that. Yeah.
So, when I look at our convention business, I think there's only opportunity for growth. If you haven't heard me say it yet, I'd love to see the Monona Terrace expanded. When you look at our sports business, there's only opportunity for growth. Sports is such a solid audience for us, and Jamie and his team do such a great job on that, but we have growth opportunity, and we're not done bringing those leisure travelers in. So I am really excited about the future, because as I see the growth in this community, I see what's happening over at Hilldale and Madison Yards. There is so much for our visitors to do. We just had visitors in from Australia, and Kate and I were walking them around downtown, and they said, where are all your chains? And we're like, they're not downtown. You want a chain, you can find one, because some people like that, right? But otherwise, they experience those 82% of independent, unique business owners here. And they bought things, they experienced things that they're not going to experience anywhere else, period. And so we've got a huge sell here in Madison. And I told somebody last night at the event, I said, yeah, it's a pretty difficult job when I have to wake up every day and sell Madison. Ooh, that's very difficult. So I just had my review, so I try to act like it was really hard, but
Is that what I should be doing right now?
that's what you should be like. Just
T-minus 5 hours here.
So I think all of us working together, Destination Madison, I am just so blessed to work with this amazing team. that, nobody is, like you said, nobody's resting on their laurels. We're like, okay, we did this. How are we going to get here? Okay, we did that. How are we going to get here? And we just keep moving that needle higher and higher to really get that bigger piece of the pie for Madison.
All right, our second to last question here, Bob, it's probably one of the hardest questions and one of the more perplexing issues in downtowns across the country. What does the future of the commercial office sector look like in downtown?
So from our perspective, we're very confident in it. And for all the reasons that Ellie just mentioned, you look at downtown Madison and the fact that we have our central business district solidly intertwined with our dining, entertainment, sports, event activities. It's all meshed together here. And that's such a massive advantage that Madison has over so many other communities and cities out there, that people can come downtown to shop, play, work, etc., all in the same area. People want to be here. Companies want to be here. So there's more companies that are moving into Madison. So from our perspective, what we've seen in trends in office right now, there is a flight to quality. So companies that are even coming back, even if they're shrinking their footprint a little bit, they're willing and they're willing to invest in quality space. They want high quality space for their teammates so they can attract their teammates back into the office, access to amenities and services that are close by in the neighborhood, again, so that they can serve their teammates and their tenants or their clients, when they're coming in to visit and things like that. So the trends in our office portfolio right now, we're seeing 85% physical occupancy in our portfolio. And that's massively ahead of where the industry is right now. When you look at the 10 largest metros across the country, they're averaging close to 50 to 55% physical occupancy in their offices. So I think Madison is much farther ahead. It's a different office market than you see nationally. And I think it was mentioned earlier, even with where vacancy is, it's higher than you'd like to see as an overall city, but still significantly lower than what's going on in most of the major metros around the country.
Well, you were so fast with that question. We got one more question for Heather, and then we're going to get to our last question, a lightning round for everybody. Quickly, Heather, where do you see the growth, potential future growth in downtown? This is an important question. You mentioned Wilson Street. We've talked about Regent Street. Where are we going to see growth in downtown over the next couple of years?
Thanks, Jason. First, I would be remiss if I didn't say that I think a lot of what we've seen over the past few years really harkens back to adopted city plans, and many of you have been involved in them. The downtown plan, the Regent Street South Campus plan, Mifflandia, also the Cap East plan. I want to give a shout out to my colleague Rebecca Knair, who's in the room, and her career, 20-year career at the city has been, really, she's been instrumental in setting the stage for a lot of what we're seeing today. It takes a long time for these plans to come to fruition, assembling land, moving forward. You all know it. It takes a lot of time for that to actually be seen. But so over the past, few years since the downtown plan was adopted, we've seen a lot of the filling in of parking lots, underutilized sites in the center of downtown, but there really are still some opportunities. It may look a little bit more incremental in the center downtown proper, but there are so many opportunities still in Cap East. Huge, half block, full block opportunities are still there. Regent Street, we've heard mentioned many times, that is poised for redevelopment. And so those extensions of downtown, I think are really where a lot of those opportunities lie in the future. We will be taking on a new downtown plan update in the coming years, probably a couple years down the road. And another colleague in the room, Dan McAuliffe, is here. He'll be instrumental in that process. So please be involved in that. Our plans at the city, we like to think they matter. I think they've set the stage for a lot of really predictable growth. They've clarified opportunity for many of you. And again, I think there are still plenty of opportunities for redevelopment in the downtown and downtown extended.
Another plug for those plans. I mean, look what those plans did in Cap East, and now look what you have 10 years later. And you, Rob Gottschalk, Pam Christensen, so many people were in that room here. All right. We only have literally, that was the alarm. Someone's alarm went off. It's saying it's 9 o'clock. So I will keep us on task. You each have 10 seconds to say, what is your greatest hope for downtown Madison in the next year? Bob, you're welcome for your first.
My greatest hope is that we continue to see vibrancy and activity downtown, and we continue to encourage what's been built here over the last 20 years.
Excellent. We're going to go with Ellie. Keep you on your toes.
My greatest hope is that we get all the storefronts full on State Street, And we see not only more visitors, but more residents come in downtown and enjoy what State Street and downtown has to offer.
Kirsten.
Ongoing partnership in the many opportunities that we've talked about here today and solving some of those meteor problems for the city and the campus.
And Heather, you get the last word.
I think all those things and a truly, diverse, racially and economically diverse group of people downtown and finding relevance here.
Let's give a huge round of applause to our panelists, Bob, Heather, Kirsten, and Ellie, for an excellent discussion on the future of downtown Madison. We unfortunately did run out of time for questions, but the panel will be up here for a few more minutes if you have any questions, so please coming up. We also want to thank our sponsors, Carlson, Black, O'Callahan, and Battenberg. I got it right that time. Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison, JP Cullen, Lake Ridge Bank, Urban Land Interest, the Edgewater Hotel, Steve Brown Apartments, and all of our State of the Downtown sponsors. We'll see you all on December 14th at US Bank. If not, we'll also see you in downtown with shopping bags and full stomachs. Happy holidays, everyone. Happy holidays.